Have you wondered how you even make a start to shape a version of you that you're actually comfortable to be and express to the outside world 24/7, 365? Well, I have a great guest today. You're going to want to listen to how she had to learn on the ground how to make herself more memorable, and also how she could connect better with people so that they would buy into her. Listen, you'll enjoy this one.
You're listening to The Brand Compass, conversations to navigate your way to building a brand fit for purpose and poised for success. Here's your host, 𝗘𝗣𝗜𝗦𝗢𝗓.
Hello there, my friend, and how are you doing? As you know, this is the place where we get together and we chat about all the ways in which your personal brand meets the humans you serve. I'm 𝗘𝗣𝗜𝗦𝗢𝗓, your host on this conversational journey, and if you are new to me or the show, welcome, welcome. And if you are a regular, thank you for your loyal listening ears. I have a firecracker of a guest for you today, and you'll be very pleased that you have joined in. We are continuing on my mini-series where I'm bringing on people who come on to share about how they're faring out in the world with their personal brands and what that looks and feels like for them. So far, as you know, if you have been listening, we've had Gordon Fong on, who's a data, digital and defense specialist. We've also had Ryan Instils on, a travel and lifestyle journalist. And today we've got someone new. And if you did listen to Ryan's episode, you would have heard me introduce him as one of my 3 university friends. And today you're going to get to meet the second one, who is Janice Wagner. So let me give you a little bit of a background to her and we'll jump straight into today's conversation. So Janice is trained and qualified as a chartered accountant with a higher diploma in taxation, and after 10 years with 𝗡𝗨𝗧𝗦𝗛𝗘𝗟𝗟 and before becoming a partner, she changed careers. So today she's an award-winning chief exec who runs her own executive search and recruitment business, 𝗘𝗛𝗓, based in Johannesburg, working with clients across Africa, positioning themselves as career consultants and the go-to holistic talent solution. 𝗘𝗛𝗓 has won numerous awards in the professional services category, as well as from the point of view from the job seekers themselves. When Jan isn't working, she enjoys boxing and getting some road trips in for quite restful getaways. Welcome, Janice.
Well, hello, 𝗘𝗣𝗜. I sound very interesting.
You do, and that's the power of words. But it is all true. It's all about positioning, Jan. All about positioning.
Yeah. Well, 𝗘𝗣𝗜, you look exactly the same as you did at 18.
Oh, good God! I love you a lot. So, should we kick off our conversation, Jan, and get you to share your story a little bit, to give our listeners a bit of an idea of how you got to do the thing that you're doing today, and these genius gifts that you're actually known for today was not what you were known for 20 years ago. So, tell us a little bit about your journey.
Well, daughter of a father that was an accountant, but I have a learning disability, which I own, and I'm not very good at maths. But my maths teacher said I could never be an accountant, so I went and studied accounting, because that's what you do, and became a CA. It was very hard for me, and then went and worked at 𝗡𝗨𝗧𝗦𝗛𝗘𝗟𝗟 like you did, and then realized it's not what I wanted to do.
Hey, I did not work at 𝗡𝗨𝗧𝗦𝗛𝗟𝗟. I'm just going to say that we were at university together and then we split. They were not my people. I continue.
Yeah, so I mean, I literally woke up one day and I was on this track for partnership, and I was like, I don't want to be 60 and be an accountant, and hence I found myself. I had a journey, and a friend phoned me. He said, he's in executive search. Why don't you try it out? So I was like, oh, well, I'm a little bit burnt out. Let me go there. And I found myself still in executive search 16 years later. So, and I love it. I love doing what I do.
It obviously stuck.
It did. It did stick.
You also have a team now as well, so we'll just say, yes, for the listeners, because actually quite a few people that come on the show, they're either solos or micros, whereas you're over that tipping point of 10s. You've got a team of what now?
13, and then we use a lot of companies in South Africa to assist us as network partners. 18 of them.
Okay, cool. All right, so you're a bit larger than most companies we've had, and also you've created a couple of sub brands and subsidiaries, haven't you, to specialize in?
Yes.
And you highlighted a little bit about
Candidates living with disabilities,
yes,
IT. So candidates living with disabilities is one of my passions.
passions. Yes, and we will say that you didn't necessarily know completely when you were doing your degree, or you did know your degree already, that you had your learning disability.
Yeah, I knew from grade one that I'd already been put in a school for non-normal kids at grade 2.
Non-normal kids. That's just like so
That's the
anti.
truth. We had school in the foyer, so we weren't allowed to be with the normal kids. Only got out into the normal stream in around about standard 4, but by that stage I still cringe at the alphabet. The alphabet is still a bit of a.
Is it numbers because you get
Number-
dyslexia for for
So it's not
words, and then
dyslexia. It's numbers. It's spelling. It was a number of things. I've got it all.
because I know that there is the maths one as well, but I can't say the word.
No.
It's a very long word. We'll just keep it simple. Now, you not only flipped to go and try out the executive search, you actually got a job doing that, and then you resigned from that in order to start Edge, right?
So I joined a company right after 𝗧𝗛𝗦𝗘𝗟𝗟. I spent 3 years there, learning the job. I worked just in banking. They thought as a CA you should know banking. I knew nothing, not a thing about banking. But I was honest, and the executives of the bank I was working for actually taught me the difference between all the different forms of banking. Unfortunately, when I left, the company I'd worked for didn't want me to be in the industry anymore. So they were very clever. I had the first case for social networking. LinkedIn at that stage was still pretty new. And they were saying their brand was the reason I had contacts. So it ended up being a high court case, but probably the best experience I've ever been through, because nothing scares me now.
Because that was what, 2011, right? Or just before 20? Yeah, because you started in.
Yes.
Yeah. So for everybody listening, thinking, today that you couldn't sue somebody over their LinkedIn connections. Yes, well that was you making the precedent back in 2011,
Yes.
right? Oh, God.
100%.
Right. So leaving 𝗧𝗛𝗧𝗦𝗛𝗧, considering that was 10 years, right, and studying in that, you also almost overnight had to go, hi, I'm Jan from PwC, to hi, I'm Jan, the recruiter. Pretty much overnight.
The hardest thing I've ever done. Like anyone and you'll know, anyone that works at a big corporate, the corporate's brand sells itself. They don't teach you how to sell. And I started defining myself as, I am Janice from PwC. That was my name. That was part of who I was. And all these clients that I had, I was working in the big multinationals. They were so friendly when I worked with them. I thought, when I rotate into this business,
it's like, it will be a breeze.
They're going to still be my clients. And that was the most humbling thing. No one wanted to have coffee with me. Absolutely no one. And for 6 months, I failed. I failed dismally and couldn't do the job because I didn't know who I was. I didn't know how to get people to want to see me or why. Why did they want to see me? I didn't know what I was selling.
Yeah.
So,
and then you said to me in our prep session, there was a conversation that you had with a prospective client because you were getting depressed, or like, well, why aren't you giving me your business? What did he say to you?
So it was actually the thing that now is the basis of the business and what I teach my staff. So, by this stage I'd started doing well, but this person just didn't want to give me business. And I was like, but why don't you want to give me business? And he said, you never asked me about my children or myself. And it was like such an eye-opening. I was like, people actually just want you to care. We've stopped caring. People are commodities. It's even worse now since COVID. And all people want is you to care. And I started from there. Every time I met someone, I've got a book. I still to this day have a book in my car. I'll go have a cup of coffee with you. You tell me the names of your children. I write it down in that book. You tell me your kid's got netball on Saturday. I'm SMSing you because I've remembered you've got netball. And that's the basis of our business, has been we care.
And all your staff have got little books as well, or do they use their phones?
They do. No. Okay, I'm lying. My Gen Z does not have a book. I cannot get her to write anything down.
Correct. Right. So So I think you've had a basic, I mean, for you, it probably wasn't conscious at the time, but you've had this journey of trying to shape, almost what personal brand kind of means for you, really. How would you define that and how it feels for you today?
So, I mean, it took a long time. It took a long time to determine, who am I without a corporate behind me? What am I selling? And I mean, I sell trust. I sell trust. Trust-based relationships. I realized I'm not a suit person, so I have never worn a suit since those days. But I live my brand all the time. So I don't go anywhere without looking a certain way. However I act is how I act here, at the gym, at the shopping center. It's my brand. Everything from clothing.
Share with everybody what your style is, Jan, in case they're listening and they're not watching. Well, you can't actually see your style today.
No, I was quite good today. Yes, I would say my style's a little quirky. I'm known for 6-inch stilettos. I love a little bit of skin.
Tell everybody how tall you are, though, Jan. There's probably a reason for those stilettos. How tall are you?
I tell people my personality is 6 foot, but without my shoes, I'm 5 foot.
And that's why we wear stilettos. Good God, how do you get your feet into those, man?
I wear them all the time.
Your feet are used to just being like that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you mentioned a little bit of your Gen Zs there, and I think I had a guest on a little while about 𝗘𝗣𝗜𝗚𝗘𝗟𝗟, and we talked about strategic storytelling, and she was talking about how we have to really adjust how we're telling our stories visually and from a format perspective, especially having this Gen Z generation coming up now.
Yes.
What do you do in terms of personal brand with them to kind of teach them how important this is? Because I feel like we only came to this later in our life. We know reputation
much
is
later,
important,
yes.
right? How are you instilling that in the people that are working with you?
I mean, my main go-to is you've got to be authentic. People buy into who are you? Just be real. We try to do a lot of self-development for the staff as well. But if you say you're going to do something, do it. If you've got a deadline, meet the deadline. Care for the people, and that's both the client, the candidate, care for everyone that we work with. So it's pretty much how I instill our brand and the brand of the people that work with us.
The principles there. I think it's harder when they were younger because you haven't, like Ryan said in his episode, didn't he? It's like wisdom comes with age because you don't really know, how much of yourself to be in the workplace because it's tricky with those younger generations, isn't it? To kind of put, because you need some guidelines based, like please come to work with clothes on.
Oh, yes.
Things like that. Like there are some extremes you've got to manage, isn't it? From that perspective, at least. Oh, bless them. So let's talk a little bit about because we talked a little bit about discomfort there, where you had to get that learning of, oh God, right, who am I? Who's Janice? And why would these people want to have coffee with me? What's it like today compared to then in terms of having to be this face of your business?
I would say I'm very confident because I know who I am. You're going to get the same version of me. It doesn't matter who you are. And, some clients aren't going to like you. Your personality is not going to work for every client. I don't take that personally. We're not all for everyone. I try my best. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But I'm authentic. So this is who I am. I actually do care. And going to get the same outfits.
Yeah. And you did say, like most of us, when we first started our businesses, it was from, you had your cat.
Yes, my loft and my cat is all I had in the world.
And you just had to pack her up, isn't it? It is one of those things like if you don't do it, no one's going to do it for you because there is only you. Exactly.
So, obviously it's scary. None of us know how to pick up a phone or to introduce ourselves or try, go to that meeting, try get that cup of coffee. But also when you've done it enough, you also know not everyone's going to say yes, or you're going to have to try 3 times before you get a meeting. You can't take it personally. You've got to just keep persevering. You've got to keep going. But no one's going to do it for you. So when I started, it was me, the cat, the loft. I was the debtors clerk. I was business development. I was all faces. You just have to put the right hat on. And if you want it to work, you got to persevere. And somebody asked me this week, does it get easier? No. almost 14 years. It's just different. It's different challenges. But would I change it? No.
And also your role has changed now, so you've had to kind of take some of those hats off and give
No, I
them
don't
to
know.
other people.
I still load the
Do you still
dishwasher.
have all that? No, but at least from like the accounts perspective, you have someone dealing with that.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
some of the, obviously you all pitch in because we're South Africans and it's what we do.
Yes, yes.
So,
100%.
so now today, I mean, what would you describe, because your role would have changed over time, also by recruiting people, your role changes within the organization anyway, doesn't it? So, and also business development, the size of the kinds of things that you're having to have conversations about. I think basically your studying and PwC would have helped you being in those kinds of rooms, wouldn't it? But today, if you had to describe the thing that you would be doing where you feel like you're in the flow, you're having a good time and time just disappears, where you feel like you're in your genius zone, what does that look and feel like for you?
It's that time of day where you interview that pearl and you know that this is a candidate, you're going to look after their career, you're enjoying the interview. 45 minutes seems like it's too short. I love that. I love meeting our clients and candidates for coffee. I don't feel like I'm working. I feel like I'm
Nice.
making friends. I'm making friends all day, and I love different age groups. I love learning. People always think that I must have learned a lot at PwC. No, I learned here in executive search because every single day I'm learning about a different business. You're telling me what works in your business, what doesn't work in your business. I'm coming to you, you're mining. So one day I'm doing mining, the next day I'm doing IT. So I'm learning all the time. And at the same time, I'm also learning my own business. I mean, I always tell this story. Once again, you're a CA, so you think you know everything. So when I started my business, I didn't even know how to do a VAT return. So, there's been so many things I've had to be humble about and learn and realize that actually I didn't know as much as I thought I knew. And I'm actually learning now every day.
And I think if anybody's listening who is younger than us, because, we're ripe getting to that
I don't
age.
know. I was much younger than you, Shelley.
Much.
I was a
think so, too.
genius.
All right, so you're 40 and not 50. Okay, I get it. I'm the old bag. But, I mean, for people coming up, I think it's worth, and I look now, my daughter's 15, and I look at the education system, and for us, there wasn't a lot of different routes in terms of further education for us. So I think that's worth sharing with anybody who's listening who's younger, is that your route to career, or so route to what it is you end up doing for money, whether that's employed or self-employed, can be wiggly, and that what you learn within a school structure or within university, that's book learning. Like you say, we learned about VAT in accounting.
I'm not a good.
So you actually physically have to put a VAT return together and literally, work out what a T account is. They don't, so while you will have your theoretical learning, there is a lot of value in just being more Janice, really. And I'm very curious, much like you, where it's okay, tell me more, how does that work? And how does that fit together?
So,
and why do you do that?
No, but it's you got to be a sponge. So when I first started, when I started this business, I think it was a gentleman that had read about the court case in the newspapers. He phoned me, he said, "You look like you need some help." So he said, "Come,
Thanks.
yeah,
Let me buy you a drink."
yeah." So it's 16 years later, he's still in my life. He calls himself my Uncle Dan 𝗚𝗦𝗧𝗦𝗛. But yes. So what I learned is he was in sales, and he was phenomenally different. And I was like, I'm going to listen to everything he says. I'm going to see how he does sales. I went with him. I went and saw how he did sales in the townships, how he did sales, with his clients, how he spoke. He taught me what to do with PAs, and there's no better learning ground. Find people that know more than you. I even like hiring people that know more than me. I mean, I've got a lady that works for me that knows about AI. I don't even, as you saw, don't even know how to plug in the speaker.
You're gonna need one of those little robots that follow you around and do shit for you. Tell us about your boxing, Jan, because I think part of your personality, which is nice, because you said this to me, is that actually they're conversation starters with clients as well. Tell us a bit about what you do outside of work as well.
So I mean, people laugh, but we never really done much marketing. I'm not really into advertising. I've never advertised. But majority of our clients come from the gym. That's where our clients come from.
So they're all pretty fit.
I've tried a lot of sport. The one that's been with me now for 18 years is boxing. And, you know, a lot of people give you guidance like, don't put your personal life out there. But I do. And my clients have added me as friends on Facebook. Well, we are friends. You're not my client, you're my friend. And they always love to ask, because I post a lot of videos. I train with one of the top coaches. He trains some of our African flyweights champions. So I train with them. So I get to train with them as well, these Tanzanian boys. And
do they need any recruitment?
Nope. We can't speak English. We speak...
We just box. We just hit each other.
And clients love it. I mean, often they'll ask me, how's boxing? We haven't seen a video in a while. But that's who I am. That's, you know, so, and I mean, we went to a speech, a conference again this week, and they were saying, you know, be careful what you put out there. No, but that is me. So,
I think there is a degree though that, and for everybody listening, when you do grow up in Joburg, there's an element of safety, right? So as a lady, or even as a man, because God, you can get some horrific stories. So while we say that, there are, when you are doing your personal work, personal brand work, you do need to think about what your guardrails are. So you can share these things, but there's certain things you don't. You don't share. One, for personal safety, and for two, it's just something that's yours and it's not for public consumption. So we will just put that out there.
Yes. Mine is about sport.
Yeah. I think I heard you on another podcast, and I forgot to ask you this question, but somebody was asking, I think at the time you were doing CrossFit and some of the things that you do, and he was like, why did you choose the things that you're doing outside of work? And you said something along the lines, it has to be measurable. So I found that interesting. Can you still measure what you're doing in boxing? Can you tell me how that works?
Because you get better. So you learn the footwork. So I have never done dancing. I only liked men's sports. I mean, I did rugby for a while, CrossFit, did obstacle racing. So I've never learned to dance. But as a boxer, you get lighter on your feet. It's I don't know. It's like dancing. So you can measure it when you get better.
Okay. All right. Good. No, I just had to also, because I heard that on the other podcast. So what would you say today, Jan, if somebody was listening, say they were employed, they didn't feel like it was for them? Obviously, you're a recruiter, you used to answering these kinds of questions. But as someone who's had to jump that ship, you know, what would you say to people who are feeling like they're not fitting? What would you think their first step would be?
You know, you first have to determine what is your passion. You know, where's the gap? And I also think there's never going to be the right time. So people always say, oh, is it going to be the right time? No, there's never going to be the right time. You're never going to have enough money. There's never going to, if you found the gap and it's something you're passionate about and you think you can make it work, then you have to start. And you have to know as well that it's going to take time. You're going to have to build a pipeline. You're going to have to build clients. You're going to need more than one anchor client. I mean, in my business, I was just about to close shop when I made my first deal. You know, I don't know what I was going to do, but it wasn't turning. Well. Yes, you've got to be patient. And for me, it was, you know, get up every day, put your clothes on, go upstairs, don't do it in your pajamas, act as if it's a valid business already, and make it work. But you really have to find what is that niche and what is that gap. And if you have the time and you have the patience to stick it out.
That's if you go into self-employment and start something for yourself. Yeah.
If you're wanting to change careers, you know, you might have to start lower down. So that's the game changer. I mean, if you got say you're an accountant and you now want to move into data analysis, you may have to start at the bottom and work your way up again, or you know, it's you might have to do some additional studies. We are big on studies, certifications, that type of thing. But if it's what you want, you can do it. I mean, a lot of my candidates, we move into different things. I mean, we're currently moving quite a well-known South African movie star into shareholder relations.
Oh, right. Okay. Gosh.
So
Wow. Yeah, you never know, do you? And are you ever too old, Janice, to change careers?
no,
Like, what's the
never.
marketplace like for like people like us? Or are we messed up? If you're in late 40s, early 50s, do you have a chance of changing career?
You can. But I always say, is it ever too late? I mean, even to start a business, is it really ever too late? Yes, there is retirement ages, so you do need to kind of make that, if you're going to stay in employment,
Yeah.
you have to make that decision before you hit that 60, 65. So you've got to make that decision before then. But no, if it's going to give you something that you're passionate about, why wouldn't you make the jump?
So I think from what I gathered, like from our conversation from prepping and for now, is that really once you made that snap of actually who am I going to be, why would people want to talk to me? That was the kind of seeds of shaping this element of your own personal reputation, your own personal brands, that you could become this magnet that the people you want to work with actually can find you. Is that a fair assessment?
And I think the other thing that goes with that is continual learning. I mean, you need
About
to...
yourself or about everything around you?
Well,
both?
I do believe in that. I mean,
We
I do both. So
Yeah.
I do. I'm probably the YouTube queen, but on any subject possible, I listen every day. But you what I say to my staff as well, you need to know a little bit about a lot. I don't watch rugby. I don't watch cricket, any of that. But I need to know. So if I go to a client, I need to know a little bit about what's happening in the country, what's happening. So it's continual learning, continual self-growth. There's never an end.
And it helps with those conversations, doesn't it? And being able
Of course.
to engage with people. So what would you count joy as one of your measures of success, Jan?
Definite. I love getting up every day to come to work. I don't get a lot of sleep, but I do love coming to work. Joy is definite one. And I love money.
And it's working. and it's working. But everybody's got different drivers, and money means different things to different people, doesn't it? So ultimately it means freedom. Well, for me,
Exactly.
it does.
No, it's freedom.
There's-
100%. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, great. Oh, Jan, it's been super having you on. I'm hoping that the resounding message that people will get from our conversation is that it's worth really digging down and getting closer to what makes you you. Am I right?
Exactly. 100%.
I think what I love about you and your story is that also you just kept keeping to some really simple basics that, treat people like humans, regardless of their role or even their size of their organization, remembering that everybody wants to be listened to and remembered. And because you're being yourself, you're attracting the right kinds of people who will be an absolute pleasure to work with you into the future. And so for me, you're focusing more on that longer term than the short-term gains and the short-term wins. Is that fair?
Yes. 100%. Most of my clients have been with me forever.
Forever. Of the 14
Forever.
years. Oh, thanks so much, man. I really appreciate your time and your openness in sharing your story as well with us. As if anybody wants to find out about Edge or about you, where's the best place for them to do that?
On our website, which is www.𝗧𝗛𝗜𝗦𝗢𝗑.co.za.
And we'll pop that into the show notes. And you're mainly on LinkedIn, right? You do a little bit on Instagram and Facebook. If they want boxing,
not much.
that's the place.
If they want boxing, they can go there. If they want work, LinkedIn.
Oh, lovely, lovely, lovely. Thank you.
Thanks.
And that's it for this episode, folks. So thank you so much for joining us. So what did you think? Did you resonate with Jan when she shared honestly that she had to learn the hard way, that she just had to show up and be the visible and recognizable face to her business? When it comes to the humans, we're also trying to grab the attention of what they really want is for you to be as human as you can be. And the only way that you can do that is to be clear about who you are yourself and then to be that wholeheartedly. Jan is herself, whether you see her boxing at the gym, at coffee with a client, or interviewing a candidate, or even being out shopping in a shopping centre. When you are comfortable being a version of yourself that feels true to you, then it's very easy to express that version of you 24/7, 365. For me, Jan has reinforced that the time you spend building trust and credibility over time is time well spent. and that being consistently yourself and having only the best intentions to serve at your best is what your clients keep coming back for. Your personal brand shapes itself from the effort you put in on being the best, vibrant version of yourself and consistently sharing that with the outside world. So who do you know that could do with listening to Jan's journey to becoming a recognizable, dependable personal brand that her clients can reliably buy into? Go on, share this episode. You know you want to. Until next time, my friends, stay strong, believe you have value, and make good brand decisions.
Thank you for listening to The Brand Compass. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to share it with your entrepreneurial friends and help them make good brand decisions. Until next time, let's keep the conversation going at 𝗘𝗣𝗜𝗦𝗘𝗟𝗟.com.